Alright, so I wanted to do a video to kind of keep adding to this series, and I'm trying to keep them short and a little bit more digestible, so hopefully these hit appropriately. But this video is on somebody that, as I research all these different things, a name keeps coming up, and it always seems to lead back to him, a company that he's got, his money, his influence, or whatever. And the topic of this is going to be George Soros. Now, hold on to your liberty loving hats, folks, because we're going to be diving into the wild world of George Soros, the guy who seems to have his fingers in more pies than a sugar crazed toddler at a bakery. Now, from a constitutional libertarian's perspective, George Soros is like the boogeyman of the big government. First of all, this dude is basically the Batman of the global financial world. Except instead of fighting crime, he's spreading ideas like confetti at a parade. He's got a boatload of money, and he's not afraid to push his agenda. Now, let's talk about Soros' influence in politics. It's like playing a never-ending game of chess, but instead of kings and queens, he's moving politicians around the board. He's moving leaders of countries around the board. And this is from funding leftist candidates, liberal candidates, to leftist organizations, to funding politicians to run, for funding district attorneys. And that's just what we know about North America. Now, we know very little about stuff that he does around the globe, but I'm an American, and so I'm going to be primarily speaking from this perspective. And Soros is like a puppet master pulling the strings behind the scenes, and it's enough to make a constitutional libertarian's mind explode. But wait, there's more. Soros is like a major player when it comes to advocating for open borders and immigration reform. Now, don't get me wrong, libertarians love freedom. That's our thing. We want the most freedom, limited government, max amount of freedom, and don't make us pay for your shit. But his approach to immigration often seems like a free-for-all. It's a recipe for chaos in many libertarians' eyes. And let's not forget about his pet project, globalism. Soros is all about a world without borders, international governance. From a constitutional libertarian, that's like giving the keys to the kingdom to a bunch of bureaucrats who can't even agree on what time it is, let alone how to run a government. And we did a video before on this global government idea and how much of a train wreck that would be. So go back and watch that, and comment, hit us up on X, go to the website. Let's have a conversation. Let's find some common ground. I'm trying to get as much information out there just for educational purposes. I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I just think all this stuff is interesting. And in conclusion, George Soros might be an influential figure in the world, but from a constitutional libertarian's perspective, he's like the ultimate villain in a never-ending comic book saga. He's got money, he's got the power, he's got the influence to shape the world in his image, and that's a scary thought. And for those who value individual liberty and a limited government, that is, he's the ultimate villain. So we got to keep an eye on Soros, his companies, his money, his influence, and where it's going. Here in North America, it's just wreaking havoc, because you never know what scheme he's cooking up and what's next on his globalist agenda. What's the next leftist person, organization, or politician he's going to be supporting? We need to keep an eye on this. So, in conclusion, just a bit of information. Maybe we'll do a better deep dive later on. Talk to you soon.